Hello, and welcome to the Bourgeois Gentleman's Reading Room. As always, I'm Ray, and back with us today is everyone's favorite ninja marsupial, Shaolin Koala Stafford.
Not my name.
It's me! If you're wondering why I'm sitting here, legs crossed, talking in a provocative voice, it's because I'm just trying to contain my excitement over this week's past events. OMG! It's Phase 3! Oh! But, before we jump into that, last time we met, I spoke of DC. They, right after Comic-Con, released their slate of movies. It seemed like a debacle, and the internet basically released a widespread general Then, last week happened. And last week, Marvel teased the trailer for the new Avengers Age of Ultron movie, and I may or may not have watched that 4,000 times. You know, I might have a little bit too much free time on my hands, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. But they teased it after Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it got leaked. Like a boss, Marvel came back, blamed it on Ultron, and released a high-res version, and life was great. And then, this week, we got news of everyone's favorite Sorcerer Supreme was finally casted. It was exciting. Who didn't like that news? Well, mostly me. Not really all that excited. Not saying that the actor who was cast was awful or anything like that, but I was more in line with maybe somebody like Clive Owen getting the job. Looks the part, has the acting ability to play every facet of Doctor Strange's life. Hey, I'm a douchebag, arrogant surgeon. Oh, I'm moody and upset because my hands are broken. Hey, I'm a douchebag Sorcerer Supreme. You know? And he can rock the handlebar mustache. My biggest issue, though, really with Benedict Cumberbatch being cast as Doctor Strange, really has nothing to do with his acting. It's a little bit has something to do with the way he looks. I don't think he necessarily looks the part, but, you know, you sort of get over that. Mostly, it's that his name sounds like a really bad internet sexual reference. It's like, you know, last night I went on down to her Cumberbatch. Yeah, internet, enjoy that. Enjoy that image, because that's what pops up in my head every time a geek girl squeals his name out on Twitter. Oh, Cumberbatch! It's awful, and it makes me cry. Thank you, Twitter. Thank you. But that news dropped. Everyone was excited. The world was set ablaze. And then the very next day, Marvel announced Phase 3. And at that point, unlike DC's collective meh, the internet literally broke. Twitter actually might have shut down. And it was exciting, and we learned new things. We learned new things about ourselves. We learned about, apparently white people do like black people, because I've never seen this many people excited about a black man roaming from the jungle and being super smart in my entire life. Oh, it was a wonderful day. So, on to Phase 3. I'm sort of quoting these by memory. Shaolin's mostly watching Upside Down Bat videos. She just held up something that's really supposed to be helping me out here. But in fact, that's something I wrote down earlier, which wasn't the list of Marvel's Phase 3 movies. So, don't hate me if I get this wrong. But if I'm not mistaken, it was Captain America, and depending on the picture you saw, it either said Civil War or Serpent Society. If it said Serpent Society, I'm super all in about that, because let me tell you, nobody loves themselves the serpent crown more than me. It's a crown that's got serpents on it and makes you do stuff. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, Marvel had a whole annuals event, Atlantis Attacks, based around the serpent crown. Again, doesn't get much better than that. So that was super exciting, but I think it's Civil War. I think that's where they're going. But they could also integrate the Serpent Crown into that, and it'll be great. Then next is Black Panther. Then next is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. After that is Doctor Strange, if I'm not mistaken. Then it is Avengers. Oh, it's Thor. Actually, Thor Ragnarok comes out after Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm actually kind of excited about that because I actually loved all of the Thor movies, but super excited for that. Then there is the Avengers Avengers: The Infinity War Part 1. Then there is Doctor Strange. No? Captain Marvel. That's what's sandwiched in between Avengers Part 2. Avengers, Infinity War Part 2. Then the Inhumans, and it's really just, in general, a giant smorgasbord of awesomeness. As I've stated before, and I stated the last time I spoke about DC's movies, here's the giant problem that DC faces. They face little brother complex, especially as it pertains to the movie industry. They are forced, because of the success of Marvel, to just sort of hit you over the head all the time. And there doesn't necessarily seem to be any rhyme or reason. It's like, how much shit can we cram into one bucket and then throw it at your face? And this hurts their franchises. All it does is create a system of diminishing returns. Unlike Marvel, who actually benefited from sort of being poor and not having anything. Again, people tend to forget that Iron Man was a standalone movie that they didn't know was going to be a success or not. There were a lot of people who thought this might be an epic failure, and it ended up being successful. So they had money to make another one, and that was successful. And there were threads of things to come. They had an ultimate plan, but they were always cognizant that this shit might not work out. So it didn't revolve around heading towards Avengers. So much so that when they realized that they were popular, they started adding things basically to tie it all in together. They added things at the end of movies. This worked out well because it gave them basically a means of figuring out how to make really good movies. Let's just make standalone movies. As integrated as every movie is, you can watch it without ever watching another movie. You can watch The Winter Soldier without having watched any other Captain America, Avengers, or anything. You don't have to watch those. This has put DC on their heels, and these movies are going to, I don't want to be a negative Nelly, but they're going to flop. Marvel's going to be awesome, and just judging by the excitement, they're going to kill the first week box offices, just on sheer excitement. Hopefully I'll be able to find it. Maybe I'll insert it into the video clip right there. Wow, I just blocked my face out. That was a bad scene. Hold on. I'm going to redo that. I'll take that clip and put it right there. And when you put it right there, it's going to be this little comic strip about Batman. It was brilliant. It made me giggle. It made me cry. Xiao and I might have even held each other. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. But yeah, these are probably going to be a bad scene, and it's probably just going to all be downhill. We're going to talk about that a little bit further in the next segment. But until then, super excited. Again, Doctor Strange should have been Clive Owen, not Benedict Cumberbatch. Again, super excited for Black Panther. A lot of people are. Thor Ragnarok will be awesome. And give us a minute. We're going to sip on this Maker's Mark right here, and we'll be right back. Have a good one.